welcome to the Plague Hive. Back again today with another video in the ProQuest prep series. So let's just jump right into it. We switch over here and we got Telisha already booted up. Today I'll be trying out a aggro contract version of Uzuri. This is like pretty close to what Archon Altars runs, and we've got a Bravo. Okay, nice. Let's say hello here. So against Bravo, I do like to bring Gravencall straight up. We run Mask of Perdition here. Balance doesn't really do a whole lot into them. And then this is one of the matchups where you just kind of fat deck it, because it's a Bravo and there's a realistic chance that they can go for fatigue. So you just hedge your bets and just go like that. They're going first, which makes sense because it's a Bravo. They have a decent chance of grabbing a Dominate or something. We have 2 blue stealths in hand already. We have Looking for a Scrap. This is great. They're starting off with a Seismic. Oh, it's the Earthlaw Empowerment Bravo list. Okay, so that hurts. But we do have the Fate Foreseen, which is pretty good. Okay, they're just doing some setup. Showtime, Crashdown. Okay, they're playing the Aura Bravo. I don't have a lot of experience playing into that list. So let's see how that works out. So the problem right now is the Looking for a Scrap obviously doesn't do anything here. So I guess what I'm gonna try to do is I'll dagger first. With the Isolate. Then I'll dagger again with the Looking for a Scrap. Pitch stack that to the bottom because that's a really good card to have second cycle. It's kind of unfortunate. Obviously, we would have loved to have like a threat here that's actually irrelevant. And then we'll throw in the backstab and just see what they do. Probably they just do nothing here. We are bluffing that we have a swap here. So maybe we catch them and they do react to it. They do not. Another option here would have been to switch out the backstab with the Looking for a Scrap just to deal 4, but I think that's like a kind of low value play, and this way we get the backstab in the graveyard, so we have fodder for the next Looking for a Scrap, so that's actually not too horrible. Let's go like this. Arsenal of Fate Foreseen. We have a triple D-React hand here, which is honestly not that terrible considering he's gonna throw something big at us right now. Make attack plating, dominate, Starstruck for 15. Nice. Classy. Okay, so we can't really do anything. Only attacks they may play or activate during their next turn are attacks with base power greater than the damage dealt this way. So we can't play anything, and even if we block this... So I'd say we start off with a Sink Below, and we sink away the... I think the Codex of Frailty could, because that just doesn't do anything right now. The question is, do I want to block with equipment here? Because if I block this with 2 D-Reacts, it still leaves us at 7. So even if we find a CNC or something, we can't send it. So we would have to give both equipment pieces here. And then we don't even have a chance of actually doing anything. So we'd have to find something off the top for it to be sure. So I think we start with the Fate Foreseen in Arsenal, and then we play the Sink Below from hand to potentially cycle into that. I think that makes more sense in that situation. Problem is we still don't know if we should block. If I double block this, I might be able to. But honestly, I think it's not worth it right now. I think it's not worth it. If I had a guaranteed 6 here, I would do that play. But I actually don't. So it's not really worth it. So we're just gonna go Sink. We're still syncing the codex. We did get the shakedown, so yeah. Hindsight's 2020 and all that, you know. And then we do the Fate Foreseen on top of that. We have an infect on the top. We don't really need that right now, so we bottom that. Ideally, we want to keep up the aggression right now. So they hit us for a total of 7. The effect is unfortunately live, so we can't play anything that's attacks with base greater than the damage. Yeah, we would have needed to reduce that to 5. Maybe that was a misplay. We're gonna Arsenal the Fate here and then just keep Isolate Shakedown for the next turn. Okay, yeah, Isolate Shakedown, Conceal Blade, pretty decent. Let's see what he does. Probably the same thing again, just dominating something. And okay, it's just a big Spinal Crush. Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. So actually we don't really care about that since our plan is to just go like Isolate Shakedown, but obviously I still want to, you know, block that for max value. I think we're fine blocking with the Already Dead here. Actually we have Tunic up. I guess we could go like, I know we can't gain go again. So yeah, we block with the Already Dead for maximum value here. And then I'm thinking if I should actually... Oh, is he pummeling us? He's not pummeling us. Okay. So I'm thinking if I should actually run the Fate Foreseen here or if I just take 6. Because I think this on-hit doesn't really do anything. So I think I'd prefer to keep the Fate Foreseen around. Especially since we already used 2 of our D-Reacts. So we don't have that many. I only run 3 Fates, 3 Sings, 2 Inertia Traps, and 2 Oasis only. Quote unquote. I think I'm just gonna let the 6 hit here. Just because for this hand it doesn't actually matter. So we're just gonna run out the Isolate. And then he probably has a D-React. And let's see if he does. So we're gonna shake down this. And then let's see what happens. Yep, he does have to sink. So this is a little bit unfortunate because the Conceal Blade now doesn't really do anything. Because it just goes up to 7. Did have to sink in Arsenal there. So but it's not like I could have blocked with that, so it doesn't actually make a difference. Bit unfortunate, but yeah, well, it is what it is. Okay, we're keeping that. That's fine. Okay. Hands alright. Can work with that. Can probably I need to block here, so I can spend the Fate Foreseen. Then just go block for 3. Ah, okay, he's just doing that. Okay, this build is a little bit annoying, honestly. I'm still gonna run out the Codex of Bloodrot because it's 2 damage in this case. Can't get rid of the Fate Foreseen here anyways. Yeah, and then I guess it's just Dagger of the Concealed Blade. And then E-Strike for 7. And bottom the Shred with that. Have the Shred for the late game, not the worst. I don't hate it. Sure, yeah. Okay, let's go. Yep. Do I want to double dagger here? Nah. I think I'd rather keep the Tunic up because I'm running Oasis. It's probably not blocking that. And then it's just ye olde E-Strike for 7. So if he wants to fully keep this hand, we're actually at parity if we count the Bloodrot. So, and we still have to D-React in the Arsenal to cover up anything that he might send at us. Obviously, if he has a Crippling Crush now, that's kind of annoying. because there's no way we can block that unless we draw like Oasis and another D-React. Let's see. Yeah, he does just take that. Goes to 29. Okay, we did get the Oasis, so actually pretty okay, I think. Okay, Imposing Visage. So I guess his turn doesn't really do anything. Okay, he's just throwing out a Choke Slam for 11, set up another Earthlaw Empowerment, which is the third one, so those are all gone. And Choke Slam means my attacks can't gain power, which is like basically irrelevant. Yeah, that doesn't do anything against me. Yeah, so I think I'm happy just going like Oasis, block with Backstab. Yeah, Backstab, Oasis, Leak some. I still want to keep the Fate Foreseen in Arsenal, just for whatever he dominates next turn. So I'm just blocking here, then we play the Leave No Witnesses, just throw that out there. It's gonna give us like a card and a piece of equipment guarantee, so not too bad. Yep. Activate Tunic, Oasis, the Choke Slam. Here we go. Gain a life, pretty good. So we prevent 7. Technically we're crushed, but it doesn't really matter because nothing we do actually cares about the crush, so that's fine. And then Leave No Witnesses. So there's no way this is gonna hit. Actually, it might hit because he doesn't have an arsenal right now. But yeah. Why is he throwing... Okay, he's just throwing the Crown of Providence in front of that. Just because he's not cycling anything either. That's an interesting block. Okay, sure, I'll take it. Okay, banish Fate Foreseen. Very good hit for us. Gives us a silver and gets rid of one of his D-Reacts. That's actually very nice. And then we play the Sigil. So now we're actually above his life. And then he comes in with the Spinal Crush for 14. Okay, sure. 14 is kind of a lot. But fortunately for us, our hand also doesn't do anything. So this is a hand where we're going to block out a lot. Do I want any of these in Arsenal? That's the question here. I think Cut to the Chase is a decent Arsenal target because we haven't seen any of our contracts except for Leave No Witnesses yet. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to block with the Concealed Blade. Yeah, that sounds good. Block with Concealed. Do I want to... I think I still want to keep the Fate Foreseen. I'm fine with that, honestly. Yeah, I'm just gonna block like this. And then Oasis with the Nimblism. Or actually... Yeah, no, I think that sounds reasonable. It's kind of unfortunate because this hand just doesn't do anything, but, you know, it is what it is. Spinal Crush, pitch the Nimblism to that. So we take 4, go down to 23, still at more or less parity. Still have the Fate Foreseen in case he gets to dominate something next turn. Our turn is just pass. We're fine. Okay, looking for a scrap. We have that set up with the Backstab here. So that's good to go. Okay, he does dominate here. And it's the Crippling. Okay, but it's an unpumped Crippling for 11, which means we can put a card in front of that and then Arsenal, like equipment piece. So what we're gonna do here is we give him the Mask. We give him the Backstab. Yeah, that looks good. And then we give him the Fate Foreseen from the arsenal. And Inertia Trap on the top is actually not that bad against this particular version of Bravo, I think, because there's a decent chance that he's trying to do this whole pump stuff up, and he might also have off turns where he just attacks with Arnathos. So I'm keeping that on the top. Yep. That's fine. And now we have Tunic coming up, ready for the looking for a scrap, so we just go Tunic. We've used both of our aces already, so that's not an issue, so we just go looking for a scrap, banish a backstab, and then follow that up with the blue Infect, arsenaling the Fate Foreseen, and maybe he doesn't call the bluff. And that's actually the good part about Infect here. If he does not call the bluff, he just blocks this. It still needs 3, because he still gets the Blood Rot, right? So we do have the Quicken here. Like, normally you kind of like having the Quicken, so there's an argument to be made to just go to Arsenal here and keep the Quicken. Just because having the Quicken is so powerful for Uzuri, and he already blocked with a card. So he's probably not looking to do anything like too crazy the next turn. And we do have the D-React to cover anything that he might do. I think I'm fine keeping the Quicken, especially knowing I don't really have anything relevant here except for the Infect. Yeah, I think I'm keeping the Quicken. Arsenal this. Okay, now we have a Command and Conquer into a Codex of Frailty. That's actually pretty powerful. Okay, he does Terra Sunder Anathos for 7. Perfect. I am absolutely fine with that. Because we can just go... Actually, oh, we can go Inertia Trap and Fate Foreseen. Because we need to get rid of the Inertia Trap anyways. Yeah, that's actually perfect. Yeah, I love that. And then he also doesn't have an arsenal. So that's actually pretty nice. Yep. It does cost us 2 D-Reacts, but honestly, it's not the end of the day, I think. Ideally, we'd have Tunic here. That would be lovely. But we don't, so. Okay, so we Inertia Trap here. And then whatever we Fate Foreseen here is what will draw off the Codex, so that's also pretty decent. And another Codex, yeah, sure. I'll take that. Leave that on top. We already bottomed 1, so we have 1 Codex for the late game. So we're pretty decent, in a good spot there. And now we just go CNC with Go again into Codex of Frailty. Yep. And we're probably codexing back a Leave No Witnesses. That's kind of the only good option we have here because we don't have Tunic up. Otherwise, we could just get the same CNC back. That would be actually kind of disgusting, but, you know, it is what it is. Yep. And he's just full blocking that, sure. That doesn't even do anything because he doesn't have an arsenal, but he's respecting the damage, so it's actually pretty nice. So that also means he has to give us equipment on the next one because we have the Codex here. So we grab Leave No Witnesses. He's probably grabbing a Crippling Crush, I would assume. Yep. So that's kind of like, that's one of the issues with Codex of Frailty against Bravo is sometimes you give them a Crippling Crush. And that can obviously be kind of annoying. Ooh, oh, he has the Fate Foreseen. Okay, that's actually massive. If that's his last card, well played to him. That's actually nice. Pretty good, pretty good. Yep. solid cleanup, and then we arsenal the next codex. So whatever happens, we still have the... So he's just passing, sure. Okay, let's see, what do we do here? Not gonna lie, this hand is a little bit awkward. So what we can do is we send the shakedown, pitching these two. Or we play the Codex and grab a CNC, because the thing is, he has the Crippling Crush. We need to pressure the Arsenal right now. So I think what we're gonna do, even though that's like sort of the worst play you can make, is we play out the Codex here. We grab a CNC. We discard the Death Touch, because that's just generally good to have in the graveyard. And... Or actually do we get a random card from the Ponder, but I think having the Death Touch in Arsenal is actually better. So I'm gonna discard the Plunder here. And then we send the CNC, and he has to block that. Has to give us at least a card. And then we just kind of hope. We're pitching these for the late game. That's pretty good. Shakedown is a solid threat to have in the late game, but we need to pressure the Arsenal here, because he has the Crippling Crush in there, and right now we can't cover that. Okay, so he gives us 2 cards, which means he can't send the Crippling Crush this turn. It's gonna stay there for another turn. And we get an Inertia Trap here, which is actually decent. And we're gonna still arsenal the Death Touch. And then I hope he sends Anathos here for 6. Because then I can... Oh, yes. Okay, it's for 5, whatever, but it's pumped. And we have Tunic. Oh, this hand is nasty. Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah. I'm just sending the Inertia Trap. This hand is absolute filth. What we can do is we can Codex of Bloodrot, E-Strike, 5 go again, Tunic, Death Touch. This hand is absolute filth. This is why you play Uzuri. Like hands like this. And we do the Inertia Trap, and that actually gets rid of the Crippling Crush. I mean, it's still in his deck, so it's like, obviously, you know, not perfect, I would say. But it's gone for now. So we have a Crippling Crush at the bottom of his deck now, 38. So that's going to come around by turn... What is that? 6, 2 more, so that's like 8 by turn 18. Okay, so turn 18 he has a Crippling Crush, roughly speaking. Okay. So these two go. He doesn't have the Arsenal anymore, so we just go like this. Yeah, that's actually disgusting. I'm gonna start with this, just so he doesn't know what's coming. Put that on the bottom, choose go again. He's probably gonna give me 1 card on this, I would imagine. He's not giving me any cards. Okay, sure. Alright, I'll take that. Then we play Codex of Bloodrot, get a Ponder, he gets the Bloodrot. He has to pseudo-intimidate, basically. And then Death Touch. Ah, he has the Unmovable, okay. Okay, so the Codex of Bloodrot actually kind of helped him. Because now the Unmovable is coming in for 6. So, yeah, we got a little bit outplayed here, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. Okay, Nimblism, nice. Don't hate having that in the arsenal, that's pretty decent. So I'd imagine this is like another regular tech plating Anathos for 6 turn. Yep. Okay, let's see. What do we have? We do have the Spreading Plague. I do want to keep that around. He does not have an arsenal on this turn, so the Leave No Witnesses actually doesn't do a whole lot. We have one of them in the graveyard already. And we have another one on the bottom of our deck currently. So I think I'm okay blocking with this. Just blocking 3, sending the already dead. Potentially keeping up the... Hang on. Where's that? Yeah, I think I just block with the Leave No Witnesses here. Yep. Seems good. Another option would be to go like Nimblism, Leave No Witnesses, and then crack Mask, just to have another chance of getting that red. But I think in this case, I just go Dagger. Yeah, just go Dagger, already dead, put the Spreading Blade on the bottom, because I don't think he's gonna block this for 6. Actually, he might, and then it's kind of nice. But I think I'm still gonna do it like this. I think that's the better play. Because if he doesn't block it, I'm IPing myself, and then that's just not worth it. So I'd rather make this more uncomfortable for him. Another option would have been to play out the Surgical, just to, you know, get him to block with at least 1 card, or like give us 2 of his equipments. Okay, he's blocking this for 2. Yeah, holding the Spreading would have achieved roughly the same here. He might have a D-React though. Yep, he has the Fate. Okay, sure, that works. That's okay. Still got a 2-card block out of him. And that's a D-React gone for an already dead, so I don't mind that. So that is now 2 Fate for scenes, 1's in the Banish Zone, and 1 Sink below. So he has like 2 Sinks left, probably 1 or 2 blue unmovables, and then that should be it, because I don't think he's playing any Staunch Response so far. Okay, that's Unearthus for 4. Yeah, that's an easy... That hand's pretty decent. Unfortunately, we don't have Tunic up. Yeah, I think I'm blocking with the Plunder, pitching the Sigil. Because Sigil's also fine to have in the late game. And then I run out Nimblism, Annihilate, Arsenal the Death Touch. Pretty solid overall. And then he has to block Annihilate for 8, or I'm cracking the Mask and probably getting 1 or 2 silver off of it, and then it's Graven Call time. So we go Nimblism, pitch this for 8. Pretty solid. So that's like a 2-card plus equipment block if he wants to do it that way. Okay, so this smells like he might have another unmovable here. I think I'm still cracking the Mask just because it's realistically the best chance we get. Yep, he does have another immovable. Okay, so he's overblocking this for 6. So even if we had Nerf Scalpel here, wouldn't do anything. Fair enough, fair enough. So it's interesting, like he kind of went on like very aggro early game, and now he's just switching to this like just hammer for 6 every turn, right? Not keeping up an arsenal, you know, all of that stuff. It's just hammer for 4 now. Okay, so we do have a couple of options here. We do have the E-Strike. We can do E-Strike for 10. That's pretty gnarly, honestly. We can also do... We can do a bunch of things, honestly, with this hand. That's kind of interesting. We can go E-Strike for 5, into Dagger, into Death Touch for 9. That's pretty nasty. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that plan. I think I'm... Do I want to go to 10, though, against the Bravo? That's kind of the question here. I think I do if I'm presenting like 16 with my next hand. I mean, it doesn't really get more aggressive than that when you play Uzuri, so the other option would be to like arsenal like the E-Strike or the Shakedown, but I don't really like arsenaling Shakedown against the Bravo because having your daggers is so important for the late game. And E-Strike and Arsenal also isn't, you know, it's okay, but it's not exactly amazing. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we just go like this, E-Strike for 5, go again. Because this is 5, right? And then it's 9. Off of the, okay, blocking with the Macho. Love to see that go. And then we go Spy to Spy. He's letting that through. And then we go Nimblism, Death Touch. So that's a total of 17 damage presented if this hits, and I choose a Blood Rot. Which is lethal, actually, if he didn't block. So, pretty nasty. Yep, and now his hand is full of attacks, and his blocks are bad. Okay, he's actually giving us equipment. Ooh, he's giving us civic steps here. Wow. Okay. Sure. He might have the 3rd blue unmovable. Okay, there we go, yeah. So if I did have Nerf Scalpel, this is where I would activate it. That defense reaction is where I would flick the Nerf Scalpel, I think. Before, it wasn't really worth it. I think on this one, it's definitely worth it. Okay, so this is another hammer for 4. We have to start blocking this, like we can't let that pass, but he is setting up an arsenal though. So he's out of unmovables, he's out of fates, he might have a couple of sink belows left. And then that's it. That's his whole hand. I do like the Annihilate here with the cut and potentially with the Shred. I also do like the Command and Conquer though. So there's a couple of ways we can play this hand. I think I'm actually inclined to just block with Black Tex and then go Tunic, Annihilate, Cut, and if he does let that through in some way, I activate Black Tex, Command and Conquer. If he doesn't let it through, I shred it and arsenal it, Command and Conquer. Actually, oh yeah, I don't need to use Black Text here. I'm stupid. I have a Quicken token. I don't actually need to. Lovely. Yeah, in that case, I think I'm starting with the CNC just because he might have a D-React in Arsenal. And then that kind of blows him out. Actually, I mean, the chance of him having a D-React in Arsenal is like kind of slim at the moment because he's had like... He's played all of them except for 2 sinks, so what's the chance that the last card he had in his hand on the last turn was also a sink below? I think that's relatively low. And we have the Cut to the Chase. Yeah, I think I'm starting with the Cut here. Yeah, I'm starting with the Annihilate. Yep, he's blocking 6. All right. So we use cut. We do want to sink Tear Asunder, both because it's not an attack and because it's something that's actually threatening to us, because we don't have armor and we don't have D-reacts. So we're sinking this. That hits a disable, so we now have 2 silver. Perfect. Which means we can flick Gravencall and then instantly rebuy it. And now we throw out the CNC after that. Okay, blocks with the crippling, very good. That's the second crippling. 1 is on the bottom of his deck. He's gonna draw that in like 3 turns. So we need to keep care of that. He might have another one. Actually, I forgot to flick the Gravencall, but it's fine. We have a sink, very nice. So this is a Nothos for 3. And this hand doesn't do a whole lot right now. So I think what we're gonna do is, actually it does kind of, it's actually kind of decent. Problem is, I kind of have to block with, I'm sort of priced to block with this sink below. Because the only other thing I'm doing with this hand is Nimble Strike into Surgical Extraction, which is pretty decent as far as hands go. But I would love to arsenal this sink below. So I guess the question is, do I play greedy or not? I think I just block with the Infect, and then I'll go Nimble Strike into Gravencall. Arsenal the sink below. I think that's just the better value here. I have to play around his dominates to some extent. I do not want to equip Mask of Perdition. Okay, he's using a sink on that. So yeah, actually, playing the Surgical wouldn't really have achieved anything because he had a sink. So that's the, what is that, second sink? Yep, second sink gone. So he has 1 more sink below left, and that's it. Okay, he's actually giving me a card. He's respecting the call. Very nice, like to see that. Arsenal this. Ooh, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. So this is probably just hammer for 6. Yep. So he might have a pummel here, actually. I haven't seen a single pummel out of him. This is threatening a pummel. And we do have the sink below to cover that. So that's actually kind of decent. So I think what I want to do here is I want to block this for 6. And I want to go Gravencall into Annihilate the Armed. And yeah, so I'm blocking with Already Dead and the Shred, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think I have to block 6 here. I have to give him 2 cards on this. There's no way around that. Please play a pummel here. He doesn't. I would have loved if that was a pummel right now, honestly. That would have been pretty amazing. Okay, so we just start with the Gravencall. Like, this is just... We just come in for damage now. This is just value. We want to swing this every single turn if we can. Ooh, is he giving us the last sync on this? I love that. Okay, he's just blocking with the tech plating. Oh boy. Ah no, he does have the last sync. Okay, so that's all of his D-reacts gone. Alright. I don't hate that. Okay, this hand's pretty good. We can go like looking for a scrap into Command and Conquer. We do have 2 sync belows to cover up whatever he's sending at us. It is something dominated. It's a dominated Crippling Crush. Okay, yeah, sure, that works. So we have the double sync, so we just take 3 from this. And that should, I think, he might draw into another Crippling Crush, but I don't think he'll be able to keep that. So I think we're in a decent spot here. And I don't have to give him any equipment for this either. So yeah, I think we're fine. Yeah, I think we're okay. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Obviously, like the CNC would be better if he had an arsenal, but realistically, he's probably blocking it anyways. Just making sure we do have a backstab, so we have the fodder for looking for a scrap. That's okay. That's also okay. We go to 3, which is, you know, a little bit dangerous, but it's all right. So and then this is turn 18, so unless I've miscalculated, he's drawn up a Crippling Crush, but he'll probably have to either block with it, or maybe set it up an arsenal, and then if he does that, we're a little bit fucked, to be honest, but, you know, banish the infect, 5 go again. Let's see, we could flick here. But he doesn't have the arsenal, so it's not really worth it. If he had an arsenal here, I would flick for sure. So this is just vanilla at this point, really. And we should have our own codex coming up pretty soon, like probably next hand or the one after that. And we have Tunic up, so we can do some pretty nasty plays. So he's leaking 3, which means he does have the Crippling Crush in arsenal, probably. Okay, he doesn't. Then he's drawing it now. He's drawing the last Crippling Crush on this hand, I think. Crippling Crush, Crippling Crush. And the last one isn't anywhere. Yep. Okay, he's drawing it now, I think. Sure. Okay, another looking for a scrap. Perfect, I love that. This hand's actually great. We can do looking for a scrap, into dagger, into CNC. Yep, that works. So we go looking for a scrap, backstab. Okay, so he's leaking 2. And then we go... First we start with Graven Call. Yep, that gives us a card. Then we go Spider's Bite. And then we throw a CNC at him. And it's here. There we go. Spinal Crush, sure. I mean, he can't protect that, so that is just gravy. CNC. Ah, he had a showtime. Okay, sure. Still taking 3, which means we now have deterministic lethal, which actually means I should flick here. Let's see if he allows me to undo that. Yep, he is. Nice guy. Drop him a thanks. get it. Okay, very nice. Good game. So this was like Aura Bravo. As you saw, he had a pretty explosive start, but we did manage to find our D-reacts to cover like the worst of his dominated effects. And yeah, we got there. Like the last Crippling Crush was a little bit threatening. I think it was absolutely the correct call to not block the hammer with the Sink Below when I did. To choose the lower value line in that situation and just arsenal the D-react, so I had it ready for when he sent his last dominated Crippling Crush. And then from there on out, we were just able to keep up the pressure because we pitched away a couple of key threats early in the game, and they just came around, and yeah, we're good to go. Actually, let's check what we have left in the deck. So next hand would have been not doing a whole lot, but honestly, like our next hand would have been like Isolate. We would have arsenaled that from the Codex, right? And then we would have been able to go like Isolate, Nimblism, Isolate, Shred, Concealed Blade. So basically it's a Dominate 5, which doesn't sound like a lot, but is actually it's kind of like Dominate 5, kind of like Dominate 8. So we have like our own Macho Grande hand that comes up next. And like I didn't pitch stack this. This is just something that kind of lined up by just, you know, pitching stuff and activating Uzuri. So stuff that happens whether you want to or not, right? And then the next hand is like Infect, Shakedown with a Leave No Witnesses, Plunder. Then we draw the Spreading Plague. We have a Sigil here. We're good. We had a couple of hands that still had like impactful things in them. And that's kind of the beauty about Uzuri is you don't really need to actively pitch stack stuff as long as you make sure you bottom a threat every once in a while. You're kind of okay. You know, the rest of the deck just kind of pitch stacks itself and it just works out that way. All right, that's it for this one. The link to the list will be down in the description of the video as always. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.